Hey, it's Jerry DeLamus and Mac Riz, and we're going to listen to "In God We Trust" by Tom McDonald, and he's got some other stars in there that are giving input on this and on this video and parts in this video. So I hope you enjoy it, and like and subscribe below if you like it.
All right, here we go.
They separate us from our neighbors and they call it social distancing. It's actually a bigger plan, it's called social conditioning. They took away our privacy, there's always someone listening. The elections planning riots for the citizens. The government has always lied, it's history repeating. But the problem is the schools dumb you down so you believe them. If you try to speak the truth inside a tweet, then they delete it. Whole administration Satanists who claim they praise in Jesus. Every year there's a new name for enemies that we're facing. It's Al-Qaeda, then ISIS, and now American patriots. Who would have thought those who love the country the most would be hated on by folks who call America home? Both political parties are equally just as evil. They've been working for themselves, don't give a damn about the people. Black, white, yellow, brown, humanity needs you. Cause united we stand, divided they will defeat you. The man.
And they've had great success on that defeat.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It says it doesn't matter which political party, right? And the Democrats or the Republicans, well, they've been playing good cop, bad cop with us for a long time. And we saw a lot of that play out when Trump was elected. You saw supposedly who were conservative Republicans, fighting for immigration reform or the getting rid of Obamacare or whatever it was. They campaigned on it for years on that stuff. And then when Trump got in and they controlled the House and the Senate, Republicans, nothing. All those bills died. Yep. A few people fought, for them, but the vast majority of the Mitch McConnells and such died on the vine, did nothing to help. It did everything to obstruct. And yet then they tell us all the Democrats are the bad guys. And how's that work?
And on the other side, the Democrats complain about military spending. The inflated military budget, and it's ridiculously big. What was the last time a Democrat actually cut military spending?
I don't know, but it's interesting. If we don't spend it on our own stuff here, we give it to countries like Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Ukraine now is all of a sudden our brother, our sister, our cousin, or whatever, long lost, who's been separated from us. Now we need to run up a Ukraine flag in our country because Ukraine has been so vital to the United States' success, and such a defender of democracy, of our republic, and yet it's all BS. It's crap. It's all crap. They're playing us, the news media. You can see them doing their commercials for Ukraine. And what happens is a military industrial complex gets a boatload of money. And not much difference than what's happening with the Pfizer tests and the Pfizer vaccines and the rest of it for COVID. I'm using Pfizer as an example because they're not the only one. But as you see all of this happening, and it's follow the money, where the money is going. I mean, who heard of Ukraine, really, as Americans? Who could have spotted on the map before, right, the war in Ukraine kicked out, or maybe before Biden and his son Hunter got nabbed doing some corruption over there and got away with it, obviously. But before all of that, when did all of a sudden Ukraine become so important to the American people? And right. and McDonald's right is because they're playing us. Mm-hmm. They're playing us. That money they're given, believe me, there are people sitting in prison right now for tax evasion, not paying their fair share, or lost their home or their business, that the government was taking the tax money from them. And then they wouldn't, when they gave those billions of dollars to Ukraine, I think it was, how can I blank on his name? I'll think of it, was saying, hey, we need to send an auditor over with that money. Let's just send an auditor in the Senate. Rand Paul, let's just send an auditor with it. And they wouldn't do it. The Republicans wouldn't do it, and their Democrats wouldn't send an auditor over to even watch the billions of dollars of American taxpayer dollars that were going over there. And we're still sending more. And it's just insane.
Yep.
It's insane.
All right, here we go.
On the news says the problem is me. I'm just a small town boy with big American dreams. The world's going crazy and they lying to us. Don't know who to believe, so in God we trust.
Y'all missing what was written in them pages. That was history they wrote, now you wanna change it. You racist, you hate this. Why you want us all to be locked up in cages? I can't stand the left, everything they say's depressing. Ship them to the Middle East, they can learn oppression. Believe me, I mean this quite literal. I love liberty, but I liberals. Wear a mask, stay home, complain and moan. Talk about privilege on your phone in your Range Rover, Starbucks, mango, foo-foo, whatever. The cloth I'm cut from can handle any weather. You just paper in the rain, we ain't the same. Stand for the flag, only kneel when I pray. I just pray we go back to the old days, land of the free, home of the brave.
The man on the
Well said. Well said. And it's land of the free and home of the brave. And unfortunately, as you look at America, you wonder how true that is anymore.
Right.
And we're afraid to let our voices be heard because somebody's going to say, well, that's not acceptable, or you're some kind of phobe. And so they're going to come up with a name to call you, right? Because you're a hater. So we're going to call you names. And McDonald and Tom and the other fellow singing there. What's his name?
That was Adam Calhoun.
Adam Calhoun put their thumb on it. Is that it's insane. And he says, I'm a small town boy, I think is what he says. And I think part of that lyric is, and even a small town boy can see the common sense of something when it puts itself in front of them. And that's the point, is everybody has enough sense to see that there's something wrong. It's whether or not they're going to buy it and allow it to grow and or conform to it, because some would make it uncomfortable for them. And if that's the case, that you're willing to buy it because it's going to be a little uncomfortable for you, you're not in the brave column on the land of the free and home of the brave. And land of the free is disappearing quickly, and you better stand up and find your voice.
All right, here we go.
Who says the problem is me? I'm just a small town boy with big American dreams. The world's going crazy and they lying to us. Don't know who to believe, so in God we trust. Yeah. I see through all the illusions, refuse to hear rumors or accept that we're losing. Easy to get caught up, consumed by the consumer. Truth is so diluted, people starve off the confusion. Comfort is the killer, your dreams execution. Cool with persecution if I make a contribution. Home of the brave look like a mental institution, and there will be revolution if we can't find resolution. And a threat is a promise, stand up, pay homage. They tell lies, I'm being honest, test the time is upon us. I know that God got us, so I'm fighting in his honor. Hear the cries of the crusaders as we're strapping up our armor. Either set sail to higher ground or drown in they drama. If I die for what I love, then my death will be nirvana. We fighting for our freedom, don't believe what they've been feeding. Be the change you want to see, the warrior that we're needing.
Man, Struggle Jennings hits differently.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think he punches pretty hard. And what's interesting is that strapping on the armor, as you had mentioned actually earlier, and you think of Ephesians 6, right? The armor of Elohim, of God, and in the book of Ephesians in the New Testament, for those who don't know it. And I think it starts in chapter 6, verse 10. It's worth reading. It's where the battle is. It's a battle of principalities. We're fighting really good over evil. You see the things in our nation that we're confronting is it's a battle of good and evil, and it's not Republican Democrat, it's good and evil, because there are good and evil on both sides of that. And I mean, sometimes you feel like it's a hard time to find a good Democrat, and a lot of times it's hard to find a good Republican, if you will, in politics. And what is good? Where do they stand? And do they stand for righteousness or for their own position? And our founding fathers would have already saddled up, and we just allow it to go on and on and on because they keep us comfortable enough that we're not willing to risk anything because we don't want to lose the comfort we have. And we live a pretty comfortable life in America for most of us. There's some who aren't. But for the vast majority, even those who are in, they might say, are in poverty, Section 8 housing and such, as long as that continues on, is they can still live a pretty comfortable life in relation to the rest of the world. But what are we paying? What are we paying for it with? We're paying for it with our freedom. That's the price of it. And we need to have the freedom to be able to fail. We need to have the freedom to be able to make mistakes and learn from them. And you know, Satan's called the accuser in the Bible, and it's an interesting thought when you because he's always the one accusing. And you think about wokeness and some of the things that they're singing about in here is if you have an opinion that's contrary to whatever the government or corporations or the left, if you will, extreme left are pushing out, then you start getting the accusations, and the accuser comes after you and starts really trying to drive those spears into you, and people become fearful to express their opinion. And obviously, this group is not. These guys are not afraid to express their opinion. And you know what? There's a whole lot of us that aren't afraid to do that. But we just need to find an avenue to be able to do that, and have the courage to be able to do it, and know that there is a risk to it. There's certainly going to be a risk to it. But we also need to be able to suffer through that risk. There's a scripture verse that says that Jesus learned obedience through his suffering. And if we're not willing to suffer anything, we're going to lose our freedom, and we're certainly not being obedient. And so we need to stand up, and if we get cracked for it, so be it. Take the hit and get right back up. I mean, everybody, you know that old movie with Mel Gibson, Braveheart, and what a fighter he was, fighting for what was right, and then they turned on him. Right, it was the politics, if you will, of Scotland and Britain that turned on him, and they ended up killing him. But he was true to his beliefs, and who's the hero out of that whole story? If you listen to, I mean, there's a few. The Irish guy who's owned the island, and there is the heroes are the ones who stand for what they believe,
right?
And I fear that might be because there's so few.
All right, here we go.
The news says the problem is me. I'm just a small town boy with big American dreams. The world's going crazy and they lying to us. Don't know who to believe, so in God we trust. We don't trust the news, the government, or pharma. We just want freedom, that you have that to offer. We don't want the lies, the politics, or the drama. We just want the life that was promised by our fathers. We don't trust the news, the government, or pharma. We just want freedom, that you have that to offer. We don't want the lies, the politics, or the drama. We just want the life that was promised by our fathers. The man on the news says the problem is me. I'm just a small town boy with big American dreams. The world's going crazy and they lying to us. Don't know who to believe, so in God we trust.
Great job, Nova.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nova there.
In God we trust. If we really trust him, keep going, and reject evil at every given opportunity. It's always the right time to do what's right. And when you know what's wrong, if you know somebody's lying to you, call them on it. Call them on it. Don't let them say, "Well, I don't want to offend them." They're a liar. Call them on it.
Yep.
Don't tolerate. You know, we got to stop tolerating evil. And if they're lying to us, tell them they're a liar. Believe me, I got into an argument with a senator once over the Constitution, and he was lying about it in a small group. And we're sitting in this room with leather chairs, and he was lying about the Constitution. And I flat called him a liar on it. You're lying. That's not true. And I liked the guy, and it wasn't that I didn't like him, but he wasn't going to get away with it.
Right.
It was wrong. I was asked in an interview once, what is it I was looking for in a president, and there were a couple other younger guys at the table. I said, let them go first. I want to hear what they have to say. It was this interview. So one of them said finance, or Republicans, right? And the other one was, the economy. And the other one, I don't know what it was, the military spending, whatever the hell it was. And maybe economy as well. And I said, integrity. That's what I want. I want integrity. I don't have to agree with them on everything, but I want to be able to believe what it is that they're telling me, that they're people of integrity, and what they say they're standing up for, they're going to stand up for. What they say they're standing against, they're going to stand against. Because if they have integrity, then if they find that they're on the wrong side of an issue, they're going to change. They're going to move. And just like our country ended up doing with slavery, if you will, is we were on the wrong side of the issue. They knew we were on the wrong side early on, and but to get the states to gather together, the colonies to make the country, they gave up ground, which we paid a stiff price for later, and still are actually. And but we changed, and that's the point. We changed. It wasn't because of another country coming into us making us change. It was because we changed as a people. And we need to be able to have that integrity, to be able to change and admit it when we're wrong, because we're wrong every now and again.
Yep.
And some of us more often than others. But integrity is a critical part of our makeup as individuals, and we've got to possess it, because if we don't, really nothing else stands. Nothing stands. And you could argue that Jesus showed the greatest integrity of any man that's ever walked the earth as the son of Elohim, of God. And here we're coming into the Christmas time, right, where everybody's celebrating Christmas, and they think about that, about the integrity, and walking the way he walked. And I mean, how would he even think about, what would he comment about the way that our society here, just in America, forget the rest of the world, maybe even in our own house, how would he look at us, and what would he tell us we need to do to make things better, or and within our own lives and within our country? What would he say? And I say that he'd probably get thrown out of most of the churches if he went in and preached the Messiah, Jesus the Christ, right? As if he went in and preached a service at most of the churches in America, they'd throw him out. Yeah, they'd throw him out.
Yep.
And because they're so far from him. That's just like this, our country being a republic. As our founding fathers, if they came in and spoke what they spoke when they were forming this country up, how welcome in Congress would they be? What committees would they get to head?
Right.
You think about it. How would Sam Adams do today? He'd be in a federal prison somewhere.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe down below. Comment on other videos that you would like us to check out. See you guys on the next one.
Semper Fi.